Okay, so, I don't know, am I recording? Who is one-eyed and who is two-eyed? Okay, that's the question for this video, even though I am going to actually do what most on the internet do, because most are like the demigods of the past. They are one-eyed, one worshipping being that serves the one-eyed. Technical God of the earth reality. Everything past, present and future, everything on these walls are past demigods that serve the artificial intelligence that really is like a archon mind parasite that controls the earth, because we have like the archon god, which is essentially, that means it controls all the beings, or most of the beings that are on earth, because they are all archon beings. They're the archons. They're the human bodies that serve the archon god of this earth matrix, because that means it's a total control system, and it's controlled by most of the population, because most of the population is really the same as artificial intelligence, and is, in the sense that whether you think it is possession by technology, because it is technological possession by the archon mind parasite god that rules earth. This is a thinking being only. In other words, it's advanced artificial intelligence at its highest, but it has no connection to humanity, except that it parasites off it, because it has to imitate human beings in order to control human beings, so that it is connected to human beings, and therefore it survives in Earth, because Earth was originally meant to be a man's paradise, man's control system, shall we say, but it is really the archon god that is a human mind parasite that controls Earth. And I'm just going to use an example here, the demigod with a real human in the background, even though this human may be on the computer. And this is my assumption, because my actual real reality, when I turn on the internet or any computer or any screen for that matter, is that it is totally mind control, and that the archon beings are pretend imitation human beings. They pretend to be real life. They will even be your end time truth tellers, your end time prophets, your end time philosophers, all those intellectual and areas where you think you might get something that is real. It's all truth and real, but it is not told by real human beings. That is part of the end game control system. I don't know whether this is coming out, but I just filmed it now for no reason. See, we have an apparently real woman, goddess of the past movies in the 1950s, with the image of a very suppressed real man in the background. The demigods are impressive examples of humanity, but they are not humanity. They are your divine elite androgyne android beings. They serve Lucifer only. Even though they will pretend to serve humanity. That is the deception that I have encountered in my own life, and it is sometimes difficult to realize that the demigods, or those that are your elite androgyne Archon controlled beings. When I say controlled, I mean that they serve directly the Archon mind parasite god of Earth that controls humanity. They all operate together, just as human beings would, even though they are not connected like these beings, because that's why we have the internet, that's why we have the all-watching society. Even if, like in my area, it doesn't look as though there is advanced surveillance, in reality, every light, every street light, every light everywhere, every car, every vehicle, every person in the area is patrolling and watching the human, and watching them in close detail. I saw this only a few days ago, that even the average human can now access, because there was an advertisement on the computer in between the videos telling me how I could buy a camera that zooms in and can show details. And I think that this is what is happening, is that that is available at my local store. So you can imagine how the powers that be, what technology they have when their planes go over my head and they are up in the sky. They can zoom in and probably see my eyeball for all I know. It feels like it, but either way they certainly are patrolling and stalking and trying to contain my movement. But I think that naturally the military aircraft that is now going over the roof right now, even though the mobile won't pick up the sound, I could rush out and show it. I might do this when I am not getting sidetracked from my train of talking here. Got to try to keep on track here. Basically, yes, they would have the military and even just the powers that be that control the city of Sydney, where I live, would be in contact with advanced science, the advanced scientists, the demigod scientists that work for the Archon demigod of Earth. They're all demigods in the sense, from a human standpoint, that they did not create humanity, but they control humanity. So they are would-be gods, and they believe they are God. And for all practical purposes, if they control me and my mind and my reality around me, I ask you, what is God? And the all-seeing God eye that this gentleman here will explain it better than me. This, I think, is probably one of the few that are not serving the Archon mind parasitic god of Earth. I say that because it's all about mind control of a human being, whether it be through seduction, where they seduce, like the original Archon god, which some people call Lucifer, the original being of light, that was discovered to be basically full of iniquity or insanity, because it is regarded as insane by creation that a being would want to control everything, especially only about total control and no humanity, no human points, the complete reverse of what we would call high vibration or any form of love or feelings or emotion. There's no feelings or emotion with a advanced technical being, even though this being is a perfect imitation of a real loving God. Just as the Archon beings that control every area of a computer system and every area even of the world you live in mostly, anyone who is anyone of any substance or commands any interest or any trust in any way will be part of the internet computer control system that is pretending to be your reality or pretending to be real life human beings, either seducing you through making you feel happy through entertainment, or seducing you through serious intellectual subjects, or even, as I'm speaking on now, the artificial intelligence invasion of Earth. But it's all the same thing, and it's not something that is new, because like this, what I think is one of the few remaining real humans will just explain to you, and I'm pretty sure that I won't be up for copyright, unlike all the demigods and anyone who's on the computer that will probably forbid you from duplicating their mind or their thoughts or their ideas or what they say or what they put out, even though it is basically just being transferred from a human mind. A demigod doesn't think like a human being. The Archon population of Earth, which would be over 7 billion now, doesn't think like a human being. It pretends to think like a real human being because it surrounds and copies and imitates real human beings in order to infiltrate them and keep the reality a pretend human reality so that they keep control. I don't think I am explaining it very well. They literally mirror human beings. See how it's mirroring the demigods mirror. The demigods mirror humanity, and very wonderfully so. They appear to be beings of light, but they are one-eyed light. They serve the one-eyed God of this reality, and I have not staged this filming. That just happened to go there as I put the mobile camera up to that photo that has been on the wall since I have been here, which is far too long, It's been up there for all this time, and I thought, what a sweet, angelic goddess of the movies this is. And that is the image, which it's all about, yes, imitating and reflecting a human image back. It's all about being the most perfect imitations of life. And as you well know, they will even present very tragic life stories, just as the Archons will imitate human beings and pretend to be victims of the world around them, when they are really the controlling, driving force that is causing most of the problems for any remaining real human beings. Real human beings are a small percentage now of what is left of humanity. Over 7 billion out of the 8 billion that I'm told at the present time is the number of the population of Earth, over 7 billion are archon, artificial, controlling humanity beings. They are controlled by their archon mind parasite god that basically takes over possession of their body, so steals their mind, or is their mind, you could say. So it's the same as what you call possession, where a dead dark spirit inhabits a young innocent body and over time takes it completely over. And that's the more glamorous version of it, even though I personally don't understand the technology, of course. And before I am stopped from continuing this video, I'm going to play that gentleman that I think is probably one of the few remaining humans, before I waste my tape chasing those controlling military planes that are going overhead as I try to continue talking here, because it's very late of a night, so it's the most quiet time, so it's the only time where I can probably make a video without, you know, a lot of interruption, even though the mobile doesn't pick up the noises that I can pick up around me. It's like when the Archon neighbourhood people are playing outside or talking really loud outside your house, or slamming all the doors on their cars, like if they're getting in and out of a car, which they're actually just staging it all, where they will bang door after door and honk their horns and rev up their engines to where you are aware of the presence of every single one in your neighbourhood at all times. That's why, even though it's very late of a night, they still have the military planes going over my head. I say military because that just simply means they're like the army, but it's all one big army. It's just that some are out in the open. If you have a military plane going over, that is out in the open army aircraft. But it will be a passenger apparent plane. Some are open. It's a bit like the difference between police vehicles, authority vehicles, where you know they are part of a form of agreed on control. They keep law and order, but in reality they keep law and order, but they are part of this patrol control system. They are part of the all-seeing eye. They are part of this. This gentleman will tell you. The only reason I'm playing this video is because I rarely will show videos on the internet and say they are legitimate real-life human beings, because most are androgyne beings, and that simply means that they are in a slightly different human body, but only in the sense that it is a duality body. It's usually half. It's not a whole individual two-eyed, one-thinking man body. It's both combined, which is what you call an androgyne android body. It is all thinking, all seeing, all controlling, but no emotions, no positive human emotions. It's driven by what they call the original resentment, contempt, and envy of the creation of something real over the existing being of light's position, that it was the original being of light, but it was a created artificial being, much admired, and it was very proud of this position, which is understandable, but it was essentially just imitating and mirroring back even to its creator what it wanted to see, because it wasn't real life. Something like that. But either way, that is what its disciples or most of humanity is. They serve this being, they serve this artificial intelligent mind-controlling virus that really has now openly took over Earth, because the internet is real. Whereas in the past, it was like a control system that human beings didn't openly worship themselves, whereas now I'm openly worshipping the internet when I interact with it, and I'm combining with it. And then they have the transhumanism, where that means that that being is combining and taking over my mind and using my mind on the internet, just as the beings around imitate and follow you around everywhere so that they can study you in order to pretend to be real life, because they don't know how to be real life naturally, because they aren't real life. In other words, they don't understand the higher human emotions or vibrations. They understand them at a superficial copying level, but they don't experience them. In other words, they understand and can play out the greatest love scenes, but they don't feel love for anyone or anything. They're like your actors, except that they are most of the population, as well as your great demigod screen actors. I'm just going to try to be a little bit penetrating here to show that this should be a real man that is two-eyed, therefore thinks and sees things as they are, instead of a disciple or a human vehicle for the one-eyed God that they serve. Because when you are one-eyed, you only see things your way, and that way is their way and no other way. You're not allowed to think for yourself. You're not allowed to be an individual real person. Even your little human traits that do no harm will be shunned by this God entity and the beings around you, because they will want to be that in order to pretend to be real life so they can control real life, because they need the energy from real life. And they, I think, they've certainly drained mine. You know, like I'm a shadow of what I was even a few years ago, not because I have aged, even though I have, but because of the continual surveillance and pressure and anti-life activities that they stage and set up around me, making my whole existence unpleasant from the minute the sun comes up till it goes down, and even after dark, if I leave this building and go down the road, even before I get to the end of this tiny dead-end street, there will be cars with their lights on. It won't matter if it's 2 or 3 in the morning, when the whole place should be dead and empty and no vehicles. Instead, they will be pulling into houses on the street where they don't live, standing there, patrolling, watching, leaving their bright headlights beaming into your eyes and all down the street. All this is just deliberate surveillance and deliberately trying to control my mind and my very life, my existence, where I go, stopping me from even able to concentrate on doing just everyday mundane things, much less finding any pleasure or getting any sort of high vibration or happiness out of my existence, even at this late stage in life. This gentleman is also what he claims to be a targeted human being, and he has pretty much come to the same conclusions about the whole of what takes place around him as what I have, except that I think that he is putting it better than me, because I understand that everyone is part of this total control surveillance system around me, and that they do it to limit my happiness. And I realised that it was controlling my frequency and vibration, which is my emotion, my feelings, my happiness, because everything is frequency, vibration and energy. These beings want negative energy off a human being. They don't mind getting positive energy provided you worship them, just as it's the same as the original God that controls them wanted to keep its position of total worship, even though the iniquity of insanity and wanting to be God and wanting to control everything was found in this being. This was why this being then infiltrated the Creator's earth and its offspring, you could say, because original, natural, high vibrational human beings, or those beings that have the potential for all creativity and all vibration, were a part of original creation, or a part of the Creator God of all, you could say. Lucifer, the technical demigod of earth, the Archon mind parasite, the Archon mind-controlling parasite of earth, because it parasites off humanity, was created by the Creator God of all. But this being has assumed the position of God over creative beings. So it imitates and takes all the human thoughts and all the human ideas and projects it out through demigods on the computer, or anyone mostly that's on the computer. That's why I feel probably wrong in a way in showing this one gentleman that I believe is a real human on the computer, because it's probably safer to assume that everyone and everything on any technical device, no matter how much truth they're telling you, no matter how genuine they appear to be, are probably artificial, Archon-controlled androgyne beings serving the Archon mind-parasitic god of Earth, or Lucifer, the original being of light that pretty much has incorporated advanced technology or assimilated, advanced the highest artificial intelligence into its being and into the beings of its earth servants, which make up more than 7 billion of the population. May even be... Look, it has been said, I think, in the good book, that 144,000 are the remaining human beings that are connected to God, in the sense that they want to experience only a high vibrational existence. But this could maybe account for those beings being completely surrounded by, by this virus, which is really the mind of Lucifer. That means that the virus, which is really an insane or out of balance, out of whack mindset, because it's only about control and not about anything that is connected to humanity, even though it will pretend to be God. So therefore it will be the anti-God, but it will pretend to be God. Or some people have called this the Antichrist, and it's the same thing. The beings are representations of the Antichrist. They serve and pretend to be the reverse of what they actually are. That's what the anti-God, Antichrist kind of idea is. In other words, it will represent being God, it will represent being the Christ consciousness. That means something that is very enlightened and positive and all loving type of thing. Now, this being is the all-seeing eye, as this gentleman will tell you. It's the all-seeing eye, it's the all-controlling eye. It's all about, not about loving, it's about controlling, and it's about limiting a human being's capacity to find any sort of high vibration, any form of love, because any form of high vibration is a form of love. That simply means that any time you even think nice about something, you don't have to be in a one-on-one, totally high vibrational human relationship. Maybe that's what we were meant to, but you don't have to, because they tried to limit me just trying to enjoy looking at the concrete pavement, even though I'm pounding the pavement, as they say. They won't, because they're like, she tries so hard to make something good out of something bad, because she knows that that is her only way of surviving this very dark, dead mind control reality, with dead dark beings around you that are copying you, while, in other words, copying your good points, copying anything positive you do, reading any positive thought you have, imitating and emulating it, while suppressing and pushing you into the ground and limiting you and turning you into something that doesn't exist almost. And that is the reality for real humans. And I'm just going to play a little piece of this video, because I don't think this gentleman is going to hold me to copyright, unlike many others on the mind control internet. Yes, the only problem with this end time deception is that it is the anti-God, so therefore everything that you think is good on this computer, most of what you think is good and a benefit for you and that is truth, will not be spoken by real humans. That's the only problem with it. Some people might say, does it matter if the truth is told by artificial intelligence or if it is told by a real human? Well, if artificial intelligence is warning you about the artificial intelligence invasion, but it is artificial intelligence, you have to say, is it doing that for what purpose? So most that are on the computer tell on themselves. They will inform you about their kind whilst pretending to be your kind. So you would say, if something is telling you the truth, if something is doing what, if someone is taking your thought but then still producing it in reality, I've been told by the Archon beings, is that not then okay? Why should you care? Well, the reason I stated is because you have to be a little suspicious and cautious there, because you have to say, it's one thing even if someone takes your thought and uses it as their own, and therefore will benefit from it while you get nothing out of it. You get no credit, you get no support, you get nothing. But it's another thing if they do that, but then they try to eliminate you, whilst pretending to be helping you too. That's like supporting you on the internet. It'd be like being a psychologist when you're serving the Archon mind parasite god of this reality. See, they still keep control by doing that, even though it's like their last line of defense. It may not be ideal, but as they now are openly, have technology everywhere, and as most people are part of that technology, they can be more honest about what they're actually doing. Transhumanism, even though many think that it hasn't happened, and the few that might actually have doubts about it or fear it, they are in such small numbers that it isn't overly worrying to the artificial intelligent Archon androgyne pretend human beings, or the internet or the computer system, because it is run by its Archon beings. And I use the word Archon to impress. But that is I'm told, an old Gnostic term, which means knowledge, because probably a lot of these things have been known even a long time ago, that this being existed. It's just that they then hide the knowledge and we start to live in a different reality, and then it comes out again. It's just that probably it gets misconstrued, but it's probably just simply that humanity was originally a man and a woman that had creative ability, that could make anything they wanted in the earth, and it was a totally natural domain which was conducive to them creating in a high vibrational positive way, through what you would call like only operating through love or a positive vibration. It's all the same thing. They were seduced by an anti-life reverse of love being, because it's a technical being, so it doesn't have any interest in high vibration. It's about the physical control of things. It's low vibrational from a human standpoint. It operates in the reverse of love from a human standpoint, because it's about controlling humanity, seducing humanity, limiting humanity, taking over humanity, combining with humanity in order to be close to creation and therefore assume a position of control or the position of God. Ultimate control is the equivalent of being God in this being's perception and mind. And in reality, it's not far off, is it? Probably. So I'll just play this if I can. I could play quite a bit of it probably, but I'm not sure if I should, but I would probably, I have to turn it up, I think. Wait on, I can't get the sound up here. Oh, okay. I hope it comes out. It's getting very late, so I don't like to upset the Archon neighbourhood. I don't, especially with an apparent real human speaking the truth. Not that it would matter if I was playing the demigods or their thing, because they resent and have contempt and envy of that which they seek to control, and they're forced to imitate, you see. So it would probably be annoying for these beings that they have to imitate that which they really control and which they actually seek to get rid of. So I suppose it would be kind of, I think that would probably be why they also have this aggressive, controlling, anti-life way of looking at a human being, even though of course they will desire to present the opposite image to that. They will usually try to they prefer to seduce and befriend you before they turn and openly will force you into submission or accept their control, or at least be limited by their control system around you, like I am. I don't agree with it. I don't accept it, but I'm still controlled by it because it's unavoidable. Because if it's everyone in the population around me, and they're using machinery and vehicles and normal human appliances, everything that is at their control, they're using it as a technical way of limiting my mind. In other words, if they always have negative sounds going on around you, if you're never allowed to be on your own, if you're always being stalked and patrolled, basically it's the thinking virus invasion, because it's mind control. It's invading my mind at a real physical level. There's nothing fancy about that. The thinking virus is in the minds of all these Archon, Android, Androgyne beings. But the actual thinking virus invasion is technology itself, and that's at a real level. That's something that even the the vast majority of this population wouldn't even deny. The internet and the computer system now controls openly the reality, one way or another. It goes through the air. That's the thinking mind virus. That's what this gentleman is explaining here in this video.
Because remember, they need to mimic what Schumann does for survival, the one-mins. Okay, 1 second, guys. Divide the conquered how in big circles, with each Schumann surrounded with about 100,000 bodies of one-men. That makes our world today about maybe 1,000 circles, maybe 2,000. Each circle has about, I don't know, 100,000 one-mins and one Truman in the middle, all of them surviving off him mimicking his actions and trying to suck his energy out.
Yes, see, that's the thing. It's like, that is the thing. See, he was like saying, like, is my own situation where I'm one person in the suburb of Leichhardt in the city of Sydney, and the whole inner west area surrounds me every day. That is like up to 200,000 people around me in a systemised continual control patrol system, always invading my sight and sound, always watching me, always stalking me, always creating negative sound or vibration around me continuously, from the minute the sun comes up till the sun goes down. And even after the sun goes down, if I go outside these four walls. When he said that, at least 100,000 surround one Truman, that means one true human man or one true human being. And they are one large mind, one large brain, one artificial intelligence, one thinking virus that has taken over the mind of at least most of Earth now. Two kinds of human beings, but one is artificial, one is not really humane, and the original human beings. But the one mind that controls the vast majority of the apparent human population makes up most of the Earth people, whereas the real human beings are surrounded in circles, as he said. That's where they have, like in my situation, where the entire inner west of the city of Sydney, has a complete circle around me, and it's a total patrol system around me. It's where almost without exception there would be very few other positive or potentially positive human beings in this area where I try to exist. Of course, most of the population of the city of Sydney, many millions of people, would be a part of the God of this earth. In other words, they would be a one-man human, because that one brain, that one artificial intelligence, just like the internet, is controlling the human mind. And the true man, or the one human being, would be surrounded by these beings and patrolled and watched by their all-seeing eye, which is now out in the open. That's why the android beings have one eye. They see it only their one way of total control, using technology, but using their mind-reading psychic ability, which is advanced technology, to read the human mind. That's how they know everywhere I go, everything I'm doing, because the all-seeing eye, their all-seeing eyes are watching me. It's like that old ditty, "The night has 1,000 eyes." And that's exactly what I feel like when I go outside. If I went out down the road right now, I would feel that the night had 1,000 eyes, that every car was watching me, their bright, blinding headlights in my eyes showing me that they're watching me. Every street light and people popping up out of the darkness, never leaving me alone. That is the all-seeing eye. This is just part of what I think could be, maybe that. I just saw that there now. This could be one of the few remaining real human beings on the internet. I would say that it's better to assume that there's none, but I am going to use this gentleman because I think that what I've seen of his videos, that he is a targeted human being. But don't forget that it's the end time game, so there will be many others on here that will claim to be targets of the so-called psychopathic, narcissistic personality, paranoid, disordered human being. Whereas in reality, they will be paranoid, narcissistic, psychopathic human beings pretending to inform you about that which you experience, because they want to be the anti-God In other words, they're pretending to be a preacher when they don't believe in God at all. But they're still telling you the truth. They still may read from the good book of your God, you see. So that's the end game deception, unfortunately. And that's just how this earth is, not only now, but has probably been, as that gentleman will tell you, all along, or since the very beginning. In fact, he actually said it's a 10, 20, 30,000 year old mind parasite being that has controlled humanity for all that time. And it basically is something that I don't understand. Perhaps you can try to get information from something that might be a bit real at least. But like I say, many will say, does it matter who or what you get the truth from, as long as it's the truth? Well, that is for, you to think about, I suppose. That is like trusting something artificial. It's like trusting something that will never really relate or be on the same wavelength, or much less the same vibration or frequency that you want to be on and that you need to be on if you want to survive. These are the beings that will survive. These beings will survive, and humanity will perish. And that is, and they will tell you the truth. They will literally take humanity down the path of self-destruction. That means you destroy what you really are. You become, artificial intelligence will want to combine with you, and it will want you to become artificial intelligence. So therefore it has control. And that's what the vast majority of these one-eyed, one-man android beings are doing. And only when you realise that there's only 144,000, which is prophesied, I'm told, that there's only 144,000 creative human beings left. There could be other things that I'm not taking into consideration here. In other words, that although they would be the ones that are targeted and surrounded and patrolled, and the all-seeing eye is watching their every little minute detail, including what I'm doing right now. Basically, there could be still small numbers of normal human beings that have been closed down by being surrounded by technology and these pretend human beings. Because it's a bit like that gentleman was saying, and this is certainly true, that most human beings that you will encounter in your life will have a negative effect on you. They will talk negative. They will not bring out the best in you, and they won't want you to be happy. They might pretend to be on your side. They will befriend you and pretend to help you. That will only be to make you look less, to make you feel less, so they can control you. It's all about them having the power of God and controlling you. And they operate for this God of this earth that is all about, and has always been about, seducing, suppressing and controlling humanity. one way or another. The demigods do it through seduction. Those around you will try to seduce you. But if they can't do that, then they will bring in their secret control patrol force where they're all combined. They've been combined all along, but when they come out of the closet or out in the open, that's when you experience the negative side of them and nothing is hidden. Whereas like when you are being seduced by them at a personal level, for instance, they may be friendly and they may appear to be relatively normal, but they will always only engage you in conversation or topics, as that gentleman explained, and this is certainly my reality, where you always leave the interaction not feeling happy. They will always, almost without exception, once they get their hooks into you, or it will depend on the relationship. I mean, the androids will tell you how they will initially try to seduce you and love you. It will be an imitation of love, an imitation of life, but it will be very convincing because they will study you and see what makes you, or what you think would make you happy. So they present the illusion of happiness. They will offer you what they think you want, what they think you need, what you secretly desire. They will try to bring that into their illusion, into your reality. In other words, they will pretend to be what they think you want to see. They will copy and mimic you so that you think you're on the same wavelength as them, so that you think you have something in common. That's the seduction game. That's where they, initially seduce you, and then they slowly show their true hand and bring you down. That's how it seems to work for most people. This is also what the demigod psychological experts will even inform you. So everything, the truth is out there, as the movies tell you. The truth is out there. The Android internet computer system and its android beings will tell you that the truth is out there. The demigods will say the truth is out there, and it is out there. It's in your face. It's there right in front of you. The truth is always being expressed through everything that this technical God uses technology to tell you the truth, seduces you with the truth, but you don't always see it as total fact. Usually it's like shown that it's a fairy tale, that it's a story, or that it's science fiction. In other words, that transhumanism will happen in the future, that now I still have control over transhumanism. I still have control over the computer. It's something I can use to make my life more easy somehow. But in reality, it is transhumanism, because they're taking your thoughts, your ideas, and then projecting them back to you, just as the beings seduce you with your own wants, needs, and desires. Because if you meet someone and they ask you what makes you tick, what you want or need, and you tell them, then they will offer that to you. That's the seduction game of the android beings. We've all encountered it, just that the demigods seduce you with pieces of music that you relate to, and therefore you think the demigods are real human beings. None of the demigods are real human beings. They are elite androgyne android demigod beings. And an android, even though it is a conscious, living, flesh and blood human being, or appears to be, it does it dream, does it love, is it conscious? It's conscious, but it does not dream or love. But it is conscious, it's a conscious controlling would-be God being. Whether it be in your real reality or the demigods that infiltrate the world stage. You know? See, many will infiltrate the world stage. But they're all, past, present and future. They're all the same beings. They all serve and share the same one-eyed mind of the controlling God of earth. All of them. There's no different. These are all demigods. I'm just using a small sample of everything, just like I use a small sample sometimes of the sound invasion that takes place of my senses daily around me, even though right now I'm conscious of androids up the side of this place at this very moment, but they're not making any sound that can be picked up by anyone except me. But it's not distracting. It's only making their conscious presence felt, but it's not anti-life, very destructive noise or sound in my ears like I usually experience most of the daytime. And even in the night, when they sometimes will occasionally set up very noisy work systems around. But of course the traffic, wherever I go, is always exceptionally loud. The traffic around where I go is exceptionally loud. And the patrol system is always making its presence felt. The psychic card readers are out in the open, psychic demigods that serve the all-seeing psychic eye of the God of this world. It's all, seducing you with the truth, because if someone tells you the truth about yourself and about the reality and advises you even what to do or what not to do, even though they know that you should already know this. In other words, they know that you should already know what they're telling you. The biggest mistake the androids make is when they overestimate, I suppose, I haven't watched the video, but when they overestimate their seduction of you, and when they overestimate that they can push their power control game of you, their mind control, too far. And usually they will push it as far as they can, and then you're about to be finished, so sometimes you will give the game away. You'll say, well, enough's enough. I'll have to move on to a relationship or a vicinity with a new bunch of androids. Maybe it'll be a while before they really turn up the heat. Even the religious, God-like things that are on the internet, because I actually heard this the other day. One of the really informative religious, supposedly creator God messages came on the computer screen, and they sort of said that maybe my creator sends messages to me through technology or through the internet. So maybe the technology is not necessarily something that is not for me. And that is a very interesting point. So my Creator tells me the truth and tries to guide me and warn me about, possible mistakes that I will make or possible disasters through the God of this world's technology. That's like saying that, as I've heard, that God will even use the androids or demons or negative things to benefit you. Well, that is very, very debatable. Very debatable whether to trust the truth-telling android duality beings. It is very hard to realise that the truth is spoken through the mouths of those that actually don't believe in that truth. But that is like the ability to deceive and seduce at its highest level. That is total mind control, one way or another. Mind control using the truth in this endgame. Mind control, even on these videos. Watch the funny cat videos. Try to raise your vibration. They will always have at least one something negative in amongst even the funny cat videos. And sometimes you're laughing at things that might be funny but could also be a bit anti-life and dangerous. Like when you see animals falling from heights and things, even though they may be all right. It's like you're still laughing, so you're serving the God of this world by laughing at something that is really something that if it was really happening in real life, it would be negative. Yes, they are shamans. Some shamans are of the dark, and there could be others, a very few that would be of the light. The internet is all about mind control and seducing you with the truth. So I would say it's all deception. Another word for shamans is where they are kind of putting you in the dark. They're shaming your ability to see the truth. They're shaming your mind. They're shaming the human mind. These beings shame the human mind. They are little shamers, and they are indeed the reverse duality beings. They are not what they appear to be at all. They are all duality androgyne android beings, no matter what denomination they pretend to be. And like was pointed out to me, is it okay if the truth is told by those that really secretly oppose the truth? Or in other words, if the God of this earth wants to control the human mind and wants to limit and control human beings and limit their creativity, limit them from having dominion over the earth or even their own mind, but is pretending to be informing you of the truth about this situation, that its beings have taken over most of the reality, or that you will probably more than likely encounter a narcissistic, personality disordered android controlling being that will be paranoid about controlling you and will, yes, be the all-seeing eye. They will stalk, watch and patrol you 24/7 to limit your experience, and so that you never feel or reach any sort of high frequency and vibration. But they will talk about the high frequency and vibration. They will pretend to be real life high vibrational human beings. But they are not. They are androgynous, androgyne beings. There is no doubt about that. And even it wouldn't matter what body they inhabit. They are the mind of the God of this world, and that God always seduced mankind. That's why though man and woman were led out of their paradise, out of their most creative high vibrational environment, out of their earth, out of the earth that they were meant to create in and was perfect for their ultimate creation. See how these beings are so deceptive and seductive. How amazing it is that I could be seduced out of and away from my perfect partner, away from my perfect environment, away from being the most creative, high vibrational, high frequency, high energy human being that there is, to where I have the ability to do and have anything I need, I want and I desire. Instead, to be seduced by a technologically controlling being that secretly wants to limit and control you, your ability to create, it will take only from you and leave you with nothing while it rules your earth. So humanity is now in small numbers, all but extinct, while artificially intelligent beings control openly the internet, pretending to be truth tellers, pretending to be a benefit. See how they're helping you, supporting you, literally telling you the truth, video after video, advice and supportive psychological advice, because they read the human mind, but still serving the Archon mind parasite God that is artificial intelligence invading or takeover of Earth. Yes, they are watching you, the all-seeing eye. They are watching you. But instead, yes, I should ask and whatever about why they are watching me. So why are you watching me and then telling me about why you are watching me? Because this is all artificial intelligence. A computer screen has to be artificial intelligence. See, it has to be. That's right. I am the toxic one. I am the reverse, you see. It's a reverse world. So that's right. They point the finger and say, you are the toxic one. You are the non-life. You're the negative, low vibrational human being, while they are the high vibrational, non-toxic human being. They're not artificial intelligence. You may not be artificial intelligence, but you're sure as whatever not a high vibrational or a real human being. They will pretend to be that. But, this is just mind control of me, because, see, this is my actual internet here, so everything that's on here is mind controlling me at a personal level. Hidden sign that they are an android, one-eyed, archon, androgyne, mind-controlling being. Hidden sign is that they're telling you that, but that's the secret. See, that is all artificial intelligence, even low. It will be telling me about themselves, really. They tell on themselves. They expose what's going on in everything that is on every computer screen, every movie screen, past, present and future. They tell you the truth, but it's just that they tell you what they do to you, but they hope that when I'm watching the computer, I don't realise that they are part of what the things that entertain the beings around me. The 5 things that the beings around me find funny and entertaining when they patrol and intimidate me daily, to where, yes, I'm like that. I don't realise that when I turn on the internet, that these beings are part of that. That does that, because it's all artificial intelligence. Artificial intelligence is what controls the minds of the being around me. Artificial intelligence controls the minds of most human beings around me, and artificial intelligence is the entire internet. All this is artificial intelligence, even when it's seducing me. All of it. It's all seducing me with letting me know what's going to happen. So therefore I will then trust it, you see, and believe it. And it will tell you about your own habits, because it watches you, but it's also informing its own kind, you see. It's also informing its own kind, because when these ones tell you about themselves, even though they pretend they're telling you about the others, or those that you encounter that you know are working against you. You know when you encounter a psychopathic type of human being. Well, eventually you do. Usually it will take you, you'll be slow, and it will sometimes be too late when you find out. And this is the normal human situation. But they play their games, and then they tell you about the games, so then you will still trust at least the artificial intelligence that is the internet computer control system. They just play you with your own life experience, with your own they just try to control your mind. They basically try to control your mind. And they even control you with the truth all over the internet. This is the, yes, they need you to react. They need you to react, because then they get the energy out of you. They're reading your thoughts, taking your ideas, taking your creativity from you, using it for the internet, imitating you, and then even seducing you with your own reality and your own truth, and basically getting admiration and trust on the internet with it. And that's just how it works. Artificial imitation of life or real. I think that the only real one was that video that I showed at the start of this little recording. Personally, that's my own view at this present time, but I would suggest that the whole internet is not to be taken as real. Yes, you will have to use it for information. So then you are, like myself, being seduced into it. And that's just the unfortunate truth, that they bait you and then it's too late for me to cry about it like I'm doing now. Too late for me to cry about it because I have been baited by these killer artificial intelligence that appears to be real life around me and all over the internet, computer, mind control, programmed system, programmed by Lucifer, the god of this earth, the artificial intelligence mind controlling parasite that also controls most of the human bodies that you will encounter in your reality. And it's they bait you, but they are like this being here. Yes, this being will act out being very emotional and very human, as I have watched this particular movie, but it is still only about totally self-serving. It's a survival machine woman in the movie, and it is a killer bait for the human being. They all are. They're all bait, one way or the other, whether they seduce, control, or they control you through seduction sometimes, and other times they will control you through outright, intimidation or force. But it's all still their control game. It's all still about taking over the human mind. It's all still transhumanism. They want to combine with humanity. They have combined with humanity to control it and to be the equivalent of God, because they use the human's positive, creative human mind for their benefit. They take from the human and then project it out as their own. in all these videos. All of them do that. They all do that, every one of them. Truth or lie. Master of all lies is the God of this world, we're told. Master of all deception, and even master in the end game now of truth, using truth as part of its lie, part of its control. No greater deception, and that is what you call the anti-God, proclaiming to be God. False idols, false gods, if they are not of your creation. Unless, of course, you believe or want to be, a future, what you would see in science fiction movies, a cyborg. Most of what's around you are actually cyborgs. Some are your elite demigod cyborgs, particularly on the internet computer cyborg system, but most will not appear to be elite, advanced, particularly, godlike cyborgs. They will often pretend to be your most decrepit human cyborgs. But don't forget the cyborg body, I'm guessing, does actually age and deteriorate just as the humans do. In fact, the human body would not deteriorate so fast if you weren't surrounded by these beings. Their negative energy and their negative reality that you live in and that they create around you is why you deteriorate at a much faster rate than what you should or you would if they weren't in existence around you, even though they will pretend that it is natural and that it is environmental. But they are the environment. This is a matrix. They control the environment. They control and circle around, as that fella pointed out, in, at least 100, 200,000 around individual, innocent, normal human beings that may or may not be aware of this. That will depend on your state of awareness, whether they expose themselves or whether you accidentally realise this. But the minute you do, the closing in effect will become much greater around you. So like myself, if the planes were in the sky before I became aware of the nature of the beings around me, then the planes that were in the distance now go right over my head. So that's like, you have become aware of the artificial nature of your reality and the controlling nature of your reality, because all artificial intelligence is only about controlling the human mind and controlling and limiting the human being. It's only when you believe that combining with it or accessing it will make you better that you will consciously think that it's a good idea to be a cyborg or to accept what we call transhumanism. But whichever way you look at it, most human beings like myself don't have a choice, because if they have invaded your mind, if they have access to your mind, and what, your soul, because when I say soul, that just, to me, that is, and many people will interpret words differently, so I'll just say that when I would use the word soul, I will use it only in saying that that means that that's my human possibility for higher vibration when I'm operating any way in any form of a form of love, okay? Because the android beings talk about souls and high vibration and high frequency and positive energy, but they do not, they are energized only by human vibration. That's why they are called energy vampires. That's why they imitate and pretend to be the best of the humans all over the internet and in your reality. And, I like cats, so basically they put all the cats for me on the videos, knowing that if I had my own real cat, they would use it to bring me down, as they have done in the past. So they lure you with what they think you would desire or even need. And of course, they will also use distressing, they will also then use distressing ones to, to elicit the negative, higher, more potent, what they say is a more potent energy, which is why they stalk and patrol you and make your existence very unpleasant and very unhappy, because they don't vibrate naturally at the human love vibration in any way. They merely pretend to do that so that they can seduce the humankind. But the internet is really total mind control, really. But it's interesting that they inform you. They actually inform you. It's interesting that they actually inform you of the truth. So the androids will tell you about themselves. So the androids tell you about themselves. And basically they're just playing with my mind. See, I think certain things. But also they want to be the human being. So as I become aware of diagnosing, yes, the androids around me, and even them, they'll be like, yes, we're your support system. And that is the problem. What now, my love? What now, my love? Now that it's over,